Hello everyone, Marilyn O'Malley here, and today I want to talk to you about relationships. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time and have spent a lot of time thinking about it. I have some notes, so I'll be looking down, but on the whole I'm just going to speak from my heart and the things that I've been thinking about over the last couple years, because when COVID first started and we started, seeing the duality between the two, the jabbers, the unvaccinated and the vaccinated, and just started seeing this divide that started happening. I was getting really upset by it because every relationship in my life has taught me a lot about me. And I think that people forget that all of our relationships are in order to learn more about ourselves as well as other people. But the big part is for us, it helps us to learn about how we're showing up in the world. It's reflection back to us. And about how what's triggering us or what upsets us, or our differences. And I have to say that I want to preface this too by saying none of us are alike. None of us are here for the same reason. None of us are here to experience what we're experiencing together and individually. And it's all a learning process. It's all an experiment. It's all, we're here to see how this plays out. And we're all in different places about how that's to play out. And I think people give up on their relationships way too soon. And we're really good at poking our finger or pointing our finger at somebody else, saying you're the problem, when there's three other fingers facing back and saying, what's going on with you? How did you contribute to what is happening? How did you contribute to the trigger? How did you contribute to the argument? How did you contribute to the divide? All these different things, as well as to the pleasure and the joy and the, bringing the relationship. So beyond us all being individuals and here to do our own thing, and I don't think that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about this, that we're so caught up in our everyday things, and that a lot of people are thinking that things are happening to them rather than they're creating them. And you are creating your relationship. It is not happening to you. So if you feel powerless, it's because you're giving your power away. That is part of your relationship. And the person that is willing to take it is there to help you learn how to take back your power, is to reflect back to you, how terrible does it feel when you give your power away, when you're not using your voice, when you're not being heard, when you're not asking for what you want, when you're just taking care of others first and not taking care of yourself. When you feel abandoned by somebody, they're reflecting back to you where you are abandoning yourself, how nobody makes you feel anything. You put a feeling on whatever circumstances are showing up, whatever the challenge, however you got triggered. So some of this stuff is coming in from past lives. Some of it is from, your conditioning and programming as a child, and what happened as a child. And remember, from in the womb until somewhere between 7 and 9 years of age, you're a sponge. So you're taking in information from all around you. You are not consciously saying, oh, that's not wrong. I'm not that person. I am good enough. I am worthy. Those things aren't wrong with me. I'm just different, different than you. Not worse, not broken, not better, or all these different divides that we have. And all this divide that's going on right now in the world is just to help keep us more divided so that we're not creating the things that we really want to create together. That's a whole nother video. But I want to talk about, well, first, why should you listen to me? My whole life, I remember in third grade, I was fascinated by people and power and who had power and who didn't have power or who gave away their power. I didn't know it was giving it away at that time. I was fascinated by, how people persuasion. And it's funny, I went and I'm a starseed, so there's certain things I know and that I'm aware of, and this is just showing an example too of somebody that's come in and this is where their interests are, and I knew it at a young age, and I went in and I got found somehow a Freud, a psychology book, and from Freud, and a witchcraft book. And I read them in third grade, and that has started my fascination with people and power and persuasion and just humanity. And and being a sensitive, I'm very aware. I watch things, I watch people, and in all my relationships and interactions, I'm constantly learning from those interactions. Now, I wasn't always conscious when I was younger. Again, saying from that 0 to 7 to 9-year-old, we're being fed, and so how people are reacting to us, we're too much or whatever, that start to put us in the box that we think is us, that name. This is the box of Marilyn, and this is how people want you to show up, and this is what the people around you are thinking about you, and this is the culture and religion and what the media thinks you should look like, feel like, how you should succeed, all these different things in life that are programmed into us when we're little. And then when we become conscious, we start thinking about those things. That's our foundation, right? And so we're starting from a foundation, not our birth, and that we come in here and we're a miracle, and it's we have all these gifts and talents, and this beautiful unconditional loving being that comes into this light, that the light that you are, the knowledge, and we come in, and then all this other stuff gets put on us, and that kind of gets buried. And then our foundation is that we're not good enough, depending on our family. And if you're following me, you're a sensitive or starseed, and or some cosmic energetic being from that's here doing work, light workers, that a lot of times we're born into a family that's complicated, and some of that complication comes from individuals that are more narcissistic, and so they teach us to be very nurturing. They teach us to take care of others, how to take care of them, how to take care of everybody. And because we're so in tune with everything that's going on, we know what people need before they know what they need. We're feeling their pain and all the other complications that are going on, which is overwhelming. We don't want to feel it, and we're good problem solvers. So we start to solve the problem, whether we create joy and happiness and light and entertain, or be funny, or we take care of them, whatever, we help them meet their needs. We become a parent at a very young age in order to help our parents not feel so bad, so we don't have to feel it, because nobody's teaching us how to have healthy boundaries and how to not be taking on the energies around us. So I'm learning all of this growing up and watching, and as I've become, I was a body worker for like 20 years, so learning all about energies and healing and the body and traumas and psychology and sociology and cultures. I was fascinated by different people, how they did things differently. It's just always been, I've been very psychic since I was young. So just have see people, watching people, observing people, and observing myself. And a lot of it, observing myself, was trying to be, growing up, before I have the knowledge that I have now, before the truth of me came out and I could start to see things differently, was that I was observing me so I could become better, so I could be perfect, so I would be accepted and loved and liked, and my needs would be met. All those different things that we do in order to survive, and that we're taught, be the good girl, take care of everybody else, put yourself last, then you will get your needs met, so different things like that. I'm sure you guys, can you relate to that? Can you relate to all that I've been saying right now? And some this may be brand new to you, to look and see like, oh, my relationships is giving me information. And so I started, so I've been, growing in my knowledge about humanity for many years, and then learning energy work, learning spirituality. And I think in a lot of spiritual communities too, there's the light workers tend to give away their power, tend to think that you're too sensitive, and so you're not standing in your power. And so you one of the things that I see is like, you don't feel you have control over being around somebody who is not as awakened as you, and or not as spiritual as you, right? Some of our greatest teachers our greatest teachers are those who are creating the atrocities, I'm not saying that wrong, right, in the world, are the ones that drive us the craziest, because if you can learn to be around that craziness and be neutral around it and not let it bother you, you've just mastered something in yourself. And we're here to embody and master being human, being a multidimensional being in this human body, in this human experience, in this human experiment. So I've been doing this work somewhat my whole life, and bringing more and more consciousness to it. And I was really upset when I was listening to a lot of the spiritual community talking about, you should leave your partner or whatever, you shouldn't be around that energy of people who have a different perspective than you, who are seeing politics different than you. I mean, so I feel like that's so wrong. It doesn't serve anybody. And my partner is completely different than me, and has a completely different perspective on a lot of things. And then there's other things where we're very, meshed with, and have enjoy together. But it's been, and here's one of the things that I want to say. We're all on different levels of awakening and expanding and evolving. Not everybody's in the same place. We're not all supposed to be in the same place. And everybody's going through their own stuff, their own journey of discovering, what is the things that have been holding them back, and how to let that go, and how to trust themselves, how to fall in love with themselves. And I see this as, you wouldn't abandon somebody who's got Alzheimer's. Why would you abandon somebody who's not as awake as you? Or you wouldn't abandon somebody who's got cancer. It's not their fault. It's not their fault that they're where they're at. They're just, it is what it is, right? It's there's no schedule for every person on this planet to be resolving things. This again is an experiment, and what we're experiencing is watching and here, seeing how things are turning out, and what and doing our own work. Our own work is the more important work. So in my relationship, and what I advise and counsel and coach others to do, is do your own work first. Because so many times I've seen in every relationship, whether I've been with a narcissist, a very strong, powerful narcissist, or somebody who's less narcissistic, because we all have narcissism in us. And that's, again, if we say like, oh, I'm not going to be a narcissist, or I'm not going to be take power away from other people, or I'm not going to be so money conscious. The things that you say you're not going to be, you are then not living who you are, and you're doing all the work to try and not be what you are, which attracts you to the things that you don't want to be. So I hope that was straight. But anyway, what the point before was, I was trying to explain kind of who I am and how I've been going through life, and I'm not, and that I walk this. I walk what I'm and experience this. I live this. So I'm not just talking for the sake of talking. I think this is important, and like I said, I've learned from every partner something really valuable about myself, because I've done my work. And so many times I've found, once I've done my work, what I'm thinking and pointing my finger at disappears from the other person. Like, oh, I know, I want to put in here about control. So a lot of times we're pointing our fingers because we're wanting to control things. There has to be a problem, and if we don't think that we're the problem, then somebody else is the problem, or something else is the problem. And so we're a victim to it. So I'm gonna get like the least, if you can start to, every time you say you're a victim, go, nope, nope, nope. How did I help to create this? Then you will start to learn also. And as you start to shift and learn the knowledge, how are you responsible for this, for all the arguing in the relationship? How are you responsible for your divorce? Even though you might not have asked for the divorce, or you did ask for the divorce, but still, how are you responsible for the relationship not working out? How are you responsible for every time you get triggered by something your partner does? We keep having expectations about how people should show up in our lives. And I think relationships are funny in the way, because usually opposites attract, right? There's usually the saver and the spender, the clean person and the clutter person. What did I have? The sensitive and the more narcissistic, depending on how well managed your sensitivities are. You can manage them and feel empowered. The less narcissistic you will attract. But the more you give your power away, then the stronger the narcissistic persons will be that come into your life. Not only your partners, but your friends, your bosses, etc. So the more you can take care and manage who you are and your parents, like not giving your power away, setting healthy boundaries, taking care of yourself first, and then that allows you the capacity to be with somebody in a different way, solving your own triggers and stuff. And then you just get to see like, oh, and then they're doing the same thing. They're either doing it or they're not at this time, but you're taking care of yourself, which makes such a huge difference. So remember, they didn't ask for this. They're not they're not seeing things the same way you are, because they're not you, and they have a different timing, and there's different things that mean. And who are we to say that what we see is exactly right, how it's supposed to be? So we get upset when they don't wash the dishes or don't put things away, or we get upset when they get upset at us when we don't do that, right? Or we're not doing something. So we're trying to control, and there always has to be a problem to solve in order to feel controlled. So you've got to understand that you're like COVID. It's like, oh, it's your fault that I'm feeling unsafe and triggered by everything that's going on because I can't share it with you, or we can't talk about it, or you're so angry at me because I'm not going to follow what's being asked, because I have my own healthy boundaries and my own sovereignty, and this is what I'm saying, right? So we have to start seeing that we are each sovereign beings who have been created from multiple types of genes and DNA and energy over lifetimes that again, we have no idea right now what exactly that is. And so we're coming into this space and time of changing, of creating circumstances so we can all learn, so we can all evolve. And again, everybody's going to evolve in a different way. Some people wake up through family. Some people wake up through money. Some people wake up through their relationships. Some people wake up through health. That's their starting place, and then the other things start unraveling, and they start. Once you take. You're not going to wake up and take care of every aspect of your life. You're going to wake up in one area and start taking care of that, and it's going to affect all the other areas. So let me just read my notes here. So just absorb kind of what I'm saying. And if you guys have questions, put it in the comments below and I'll answer it. And if you're interested in having a live talk on this so you can ask questions, and I can make it private, so I can do it like on Zoom and then delete the Zoom so people can feel freer to really say what they want to say, because sometimes people don't want that out there, and this is important. I think this is really important. So see, one is, so learning that we have to take responsibility for our triggers, for our problems, for our challenges, and not want to be controlling what somebody else is doing, understanding they're going through theirs. You can speak your, this is what I need, this is what I want, you still speak your truths. And that's one of the reasons that there is problems in relationships, is because we're not speaking our truth. We're not being sovereign. We're not saying the things that we want or need in our life from our partners, and expressing why that is so that they can learn. We have to realize, men are from Venus, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, that whole thing. It's even more complicated. So many layers to all of that. And we cannot expect that somebody should intuitively know what it is that we need and want. And that's where a lot of this goes haywire, right? And why there's a lot of problems now in every aspect of life, and these dualities, is because people haven't been able to speak up and say what it is that they really are wanting and need, and also speaking differences, and as us allowing the differences. When you realize how different we all are, and where we came from, there's you're just gonna go, oh my gosh, that's so crazy that I was thinking that it should be any different. But again, remembering too that you try to control things and you have expectations because you're thinking that you should control things in order to feel safe, because you don't feel safe in the unknown. And a lot of us also are wanting to feel safe from others, and really safety and security is an inside issue, inside you, has nothing to do with the outside. You can create it afterwards, but once it's in you and you understand you're responsible for feeling safe, you're responsible for being connected to you. If you don't feel connected to you and you feel like you're connected to everybody else, and your life depends on how other people respond to you, interact, and what they believe, then that's really scary. That is scary. And it doesn't feel safe to be you and be in your body. And it's also realizing that that our gifts, our programming, our unresolved issue is our gifts. Those are gifts. There are triggers. I said our gifts. Our triggers, our programming, and challenges, all that stuff are gifts for you to explore you more, and to, if you're it's also for you to explore your partner, your friends, your employer, your business, humanity. It's like it's an opportunity to find out, like, what's going on, how is that different, why is this happening, how am I contributing to that. What do I need to know that I don't already know? Ask your higher selves that when you're in situations. What do I need to know that I don't already know? And then be quiet and see what shows up. So the other is, and the other thing is that we keep thinking we have to prove that we're somebody. And that somebody is that you're thinking you have to prove that you are that person that you created as a child that's in the box, because that's what's familiar. And so you're constantly having to, so where you think that you're not enough, or you're unworthy, or that you're weak or whatever, you keep thinking you have to prove that you're strong. So like a lot of sensitives think that they're weak because they can't handle a lot of the stuff that other people around them seem to be handling. I'm going to say that. And so then we think, okay, we have to prove that we're strong. So we become perfectionists. We don't ask for help. We don't ask for what we need. We don't get support. We think we have to do everything on our own. And then, so what are we constantly feeling about ourselves? That we're weak. That something is not the way it should be. And so we're trying to prove that, and that's what gets in the way of our relationships. That's what gets in the way, thinking that we have to do things we don't want to be doing, or we start listening to what other people are saying more than what's really in the core of us. And when we do that, then we're not living in the present moment. We can't be with somebody the strongest thing you can do is be with somebody in the present moment, and remind yourself. This is a tip that I give my clients. Remember, you've never been here before, so you don't know how they're going to act when you ask a question or ask for a need to be met. You've never been here before. When you're having dinner every morning that you wake up together, or go to bed, that you've never been there before, even though you do it every single day. It's all new. And I think, and that goes with your friends, that goes with your boss. So everything, every moment is like a new canvas to paint on, a new beginning to a movie. And it's important that you realize that, because if you keep accumulating all the stuff that's happened in the past, you're putting that person in a box, as well as yourself, as well as the relationship is in a box. And it's better that you don't do that. So I was just looking so I want to put one caveat in here. So if you are in an abusive relationship, then do not stay. I'm not saying for that. So if you're in a relationship where you can still be you and move ahead and do the things and say what you need to say and do what you need to do, and because that's a growing environment. But if at all that you're being bullied, you're being abused mentally, physically, spiritually, then you have to make a decision then, and whether that's asking to go get therapy or counseling or coaching, sitting down and having those hard talks and doing something different than you've done before, because a lot of times that can show up and things can change with that. But you've got to take action yourself and, um, you know, meet it head on, even when it's hard, even when there's the unknown and the uncertainty, because that's the only way you're going to get through it and move through it. And it's amazing. I've seen amazing things happen. But the other thing is when you do that and you learn what you came into this relationship to learn, you say, okay, what did I come here to learn? What have I gotten out of this? What did I learn about me? What did I learn about humanity or them? And not looking at it as a negative way, just like, oh, so you see that person in a view from being whole, not broken. Our programming is broken. We're not broken. We have all the memories in us. We have all of the tools. Everything is there that we need. But this programming is stomping all of that down. Okay, let me see. So the other thing is to state that if you keep pushing things down and you keep tolerating and you're not learning, and your easy way is to just leave, not do any of the work, you're just going to keep repeating. The same situations are going to keep coming up, keep repeating itself until you get the lesson, because this is one of your lessons. And so there's ways that you can work through things and have it be very valuable to you. It can make an amazing relationship, and serve both of you as well as your interactions with the outside world. So it is important that you take this time with each of the relationships. And this is also why it's not necessarily, at this time too, great to have, flings all the time, because that's just kind of, then there's a thing about intimacy, an intimacy where you're not wanting to be intimate. And that's another thing. There's usually somebody, again, in the opposites, where you can work on somebody that feels pretty good being intimate, and the other person is like, oh, it's scary to them because of triggers from the past. And so you can, if when you're honest and stuff, you can be working that out and saying, I need to go slow here, or this is what I'm feeling, and you start feeling it and then letting that past experience, oh, that's coming up, that's where I'm feeling triggered, that's why I feel like I'm pulling away. Okay, let's stop, let's just experience that for a minute, let that go, that's the past. Okay, right here, right now, I've never been here before with my partner, with my friend, whatever it is that you're doing, and just, okay, what can be created? What can we create here? What can I help to create? What can we create together? Does this make sense? It probably would be good to do a live, because then people can ask questions and I can use, examples and, ask questions. So yeah, let me know if you want me to do a live from this, and we'll do a live on YouTube. If anybody knows how to do live YouTube really well and would want to help me on that, I'd appreciate it. Because I think this is important about where we're going. This is important about going to 5D and being in unity. This is important about realizing that we're each individuals, and to not have expectations about other people, because we have no idea what their agreement was to come in, what they're here to do, what their purpose and passion, and we don't want to hold anybody back from experiencing what they're here to experience, and have the breakthroughs and the breakdowns to have those breakthroughs. We don't want to limit them, just as we wouldn't want anybody limiting that for us. And if we can hold that space where we can allow people to um, process their stuff, again, with you having healthy boundaries, no abuse in this, where people taking responsibility for themselves and what they're going on, not pointing and poking the other person, then we're gonna have a lot more um, heart and openness and compassion and gratitude and joy and pleasure and love in our life than we ever had before, which will radiate out, and so will the other people, you know? So, and we can actually, through this process, I believe, solve a lot of problems, solve a lot of the challenges if we start staying away from being a victim, pointing the finger, having expectations, and putting other people in boxes, and keeping ourselves in a box. Take ourselves out of the box. Let us go explore. Let's see what really wants to come through here. And I think trust in the process of it's each being individuals. You know, we're in a really sick community. Humanity is sick, and we need to allow ourselves to heal. And so we can't be doing things the same way we were doing it before. People are not dispensable. You know, we got to get clear on that. People are not indispensable. We are energy. All of us are energy, and our energy is going out and creating in the intelligence energy that is around us. And we're here again to create and not be victims. So how can we create in new ways that support the highest good for everyone? So I think I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening. Love to hear your comments and questions. And I will talk to you soon. Until we meet again, love, live, and matter. Please like this. Please share this. And if you want more attention on a weekly basis, join my Patreon group, Marilyn O'Malley at Patreon. And if you want some one-on-one coaching, I've got some openings. So until we meet again, take care, love, live, and matter. Bye.